3 weeks ago, I got the Nintendo Switch 2. I booked the day off work. I took myself down to Curry's. I picked it up after I pre-ordered. I got the Pro Controller. I got the case. And I've spent the last 3 weeks playing through Nintendo's best-selling launch console ever. In today's video, I'm going to give you my honest thoughts. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So I think it's fair to say with this channel and everything that I have with it, I was very excited for this offering from Nintendo. Obviously, we've had the Switch for 8 years prior to this, and so an update was due. What I'm happy to say is, overall to me, the hardware feels like a significant upgrade on the Switch itself. The actual console itself feels premium, it feels less plasticky. I think the Joy-Cons even feel better, and the increased size of the controllers actually does make a difference. I haven't played much handheld mode, if I'm being perfectly honest. I've spent a lot of time with my Switch 2 docked, but when I did take it away with me for work, when I travelled, I did find that it was much easier to use. The controllers felt much more robust, the whole system felt better, but I do think the biggest disappointment on the hardware side of things is the battery life, guys. It's the same old Switch, it's what you remember from before. It's pretty poor. If you leave it on sleep mode and you don't pick it up for a couple of days, it's run out of charge very quickly, so that's just one thing to be aware of. The Pro Controller is a big upgrade. This thing is much better than the original Switch Pro Controller. The back paddles I actually have hardly used because I'm not really used to back paddles in games, so I have no idea how to use those or what I would use them for. But the controller sticks feel much nicer and responsive. The triggers feel much more robust as well, and overall this controller feels much nicer to use than the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. But as time has progressed and we've moved on, I can't help but feel that there's a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Yes, the console is fantastic. Yes, this is a significant upgrade on the Switch. But the majority of my disappointment actually comes with the lineup of games that we've had for launch. So I've just come over to my Switch screen because I want to show you what I mean by the problem. So I'm going to go back to Welcome Tour. So I did pay the whatever it was to buy this game. Welcome Tour is where I started my Switch 2 journey. Okay, guys, let me show you the range of games I've played on my Switch 2 since. So we have Welcome Tour. I tried this to see if there's any graphical improvements and I couldn't see any at the time. The GameCube for Wind Waker. 64, I went back just to see if there was any differences. There wasn't really. I've played a bit of Undertale because it was recommended to me and that was for a flight, so that's why it's on there. I have Metroid Dread. I've been playing that. I've got Mario Kart World. And then we've got Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild Switch 2 editions. So that's kind of the range of games that we have there on the lineup. What's the problem there though? The problem for me is that there is only one true next gen for Nintendo game on that list, and that's Mario Kart World. The Welcome Tour one is obviously should have been free, should have been a pack-in title, and it's basically a tech demo. On reflection, Mario Kart World is obviously a fantastic launch title for casual gamers. Everybody loves Mario Kart. The online is easily accessible, easy to play, easy to jump in on, happy days. I think it's great. But what I am disappointed by the most is that they've basically taken the two Zelda titles, the Switch 2 editions, and gone, look at these also launch titles. And as I've shown before, there are significant upgrades. You know, if I just mess around in this, you can see immediately the difference in fidelity and how it looks. And to be honest, if this was a launch title on its own and this was the first thing that they had, this would be, obviously, as we know with the Switch, one of the best launch games ever. Right? And that's no problem. The problem for me though is that we've had about 2 years, I would say, of a lack of Nintendo anything. Kind of a lack of content, a lack of news, a lack of generally any kind of excitement. And it's all kind of been building up to the Switch 2. If you think about 2023, whenever they were doing tweets to say, guys, listen, we're doing a direct, but there's going to be no news on the successor to the Nintendo Switch. So we've been teasing this for ages. The Switch, for the last 2 years of its life, for me, post Tears of the Kingdom, really felt like a console that was just waiting for the next thing to arrive. The next thing has arrived, and the console to me feels so barren. Like, my honest review right now to you immediately is, do not rush to get a Switch 2. That is my advice. Do wait. Just wait. You're not missing out on much. To me, if you have played Mario Kart 8, then you have played Mario Kart World. I'm sorry, that might be a controversial take, but it's not a significant improvement. There are changes, of course. There's 24 racers. It's absolute chaos. Some of the tracks are really, really great. But if you're playing Mario Kart 8, you've played Mario Kart World, and you don't need to rush to pay £400 to get the console and the game. That's how I see it. I think this could have done with another release at the same time. To me, a single player release would have made so much sense. We kind of know the lineup now. We have Donkey Kong Bonanza, middle of July. Dragon Drive, middle of August. Who cares? Sorry. Metroid Prime 4, still nothing. The Switch 2 needed to have more first party single player games at launch. And I hear you. You're saying, but Joe, we have loads of these games that weren't on Switch have come to Switch 2. The Switch 2 can run all these things like Hitman or Yakuza or whatever it is. But I would say that for a lot of people, and you can put in the comments if I'm speaking out of hand here, but I think a lot of people own a Switch and something else. So a lot of people own a Switch and a PlayStation, or they'll own a Switch and an Xbox, or a Switch and a PC, and so on. Some families, yes, are Switch only, but this review is very much about the hardcore gamer, like myself, who does a lot of gaming, spare time, streams, all that kind of thing. All those games that were third party, that have come out in release, apart from Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4, have already been out for a long time, and have already been out on other platforms. So, while it's great that you can take it on the go on the Switch 2, I don't think that they have sold as well as maybe these companies thought they would sell, for this reason I've just given. A lot of people who have the Switch 2, especially those who have bought it at launch, already have those games on their PlayStations or their Xboxes. I sit here today, 3 weeks out past launch, and I feel a sense of disappointment in what the Switch 2 is, and I also kind of have found myself quickly drifting over back to my PS5 almost instantaneously. There's been no kind of obsession with the Switch 2. That will come. There will be more games. These things will happen. But I just feel like if I wasn't running this channel and I wasn't using my Switch 2 for content purposes, if I wasn't recording my Tears of the Kingdom playthrough specifically for the retrospective that goes up at 1,000 subscribers, make sure to subscribe, guys, I would feel like I maybe could have waited for a sale. And that's kind of where I am with the Switch 2. Look, don't get me wrong, I love having it. I love the upgrades to Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. They are huge differences and they look amazing, they really do. And I love playing those games again. But overall, guys, it's not special. It's not crazy, and I don't think we're going to get the benefits of that until 2026, whenever this library of games comes through. I'm really excited for the future of the Switch 2, don't get me wrong, and while Donkey Kong Bonanza has me feeling slightly underwhelmed and unsure, I definitely will be picking that up I definitely will be playing it, and I definitely will be seeing what it's like. But I think in a year's time we'll come back and we'll have the discussion on how good has this console actually been. So what are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like this video and make sure to subscribe to the channel. We recently passed 550 subs, so big thank you for that. We are pushing to 1,000. Obviously the first goal is 600, so if you want to help me get to 600, hit that subscribe button. At 1,000 subscribers, I will be launching the Tears of the Kingdom retrospective, the trailer for which you can see somewhere here on the channel. And all the links to all my other stuff is down below, guys. But for now, I've been the Zelda Realm. I'll be back next week with the Legend of Zelda Beyond the Timeline. I'll see you then.